Hey, it's Chris, Leisure Games. Let's do this. As always, what's coming up next week? The first week of April. Now, is this going to be a break on your wallet? Is it going to continue the assault that the end of March did? I'll be frank with you guys. The assault kind of has continued for me. I am steadily, this past 3 weeks, pretty much one a week right now. Like, legit. Tune in. I'll have it in the next couple days of what I'm backing, what I didn't back over the last month, as well as all of the new games and the games I played in March. And I'm going to rank them this time. I'm going to rank them with a few of my quick thoughts, blurbs out there as well. And I'll tell you right now, this weekend, at the time of me filming this, 4 new games in that I have done. My list of, not shame, my shelf of opportunity, it sounds weird to say this, is probably down to about 50 games. That being said, I've played a ton of new games this year already. I've probably already played 30 to 40, probably somewhere in there, new games this year. So, if you put that in that context, 3 months in, it's something else. Okay, that's enough rambling. Let's see what we got on the radar this week. Let's do this. Potentially the biggest one to launch, at least peripherally, when I'm looking at this list, this is Legacy of Thracks. Now, why is that? It's because it's an interesting mix of Euro, Amerithrash hybrid, bringing you several different modes, blessing or curse that it is. Fully co-op, competitive, one versus all, a little bit of everything there you know. Over 9 days, you are going to trying to be reaching the legendary city and the first one to accomplish it. Now, if you go over to their website here, you can get a little bit better picture. Now, it is going to be miniature. Again, it's going to be a pricier game as well. You are going to be traveling along these roads, capturing villages or cities, building paths, getting resources, collecting relics, unlocking, special objectives to help you along the way, and also a little bit of an area control mechanic. Now, you can be working with your fellow heroes or potentially against them, and you are trying to get there before the shadow wins. Now, one player, as I mentioned, could be the one versus all, and they can be a shadow hero trying to prevent the heroes from accomplishing their tasks. There is going to be a dedicated solo mode down here from David Turksey, and again, it's probably going to be a little bit longer from this aspect, given all of those mechanics that we've seen. You can play it online already, and you can already check out the rulebook. This page actually has almost everything that you're going to need on it. Like I said, enters the city of Damara, you win. In order to reach it, though, not just a physical location, you have to do several other things. Completing your secret quest, gaining 5 relics, and getting your glory up to a certain level in order to complete magical barriers. In order to do so, you have to win a couple battles or you have to capture a fortress. Again, as the shadow hero, you get victory points for preventing, and you're trying to, slow down and weaken them as well. Talks about the different magical barriers here, the cards, the quests that you can do, the glory that you're keeping track of, a skill tree that you're going through, and then you get into the battle system. Now, the battle system is slightly different. The winner actually steals resources from the defeated player and increases your glory. The total combat power is how you win. Heroes have it. They have a field bonus, and then you can play cards everywhere from 0 to 3 with a clan modifier. But you can also use captured fortresses that will adjust it as well. The other small caveat with these is these battle cards have blessings to them that even if you lose the battle, they say it might be worth initiating because you get these bonuses anyway. What does the field look like? All of the various things that you're going to be using and accomplishing: temples, villages, armories, portals to transport heroes, but also to bring back lost souls, build roads through the villages, buy your battle cards, receive your golds and your action cards, as well as everything else. I mean, this is a very wide plethora of options on a map in the first place. The capitals in which your heroes are going to be starting at, and then a little bit of lore. Again, this is a big looking game. The scope of this is significantly different. You're having asymmetric characters, the heroes that they mentioned of your various classes here: warrior, mage, engineer, shadow, lost soul. Again, the world, the lore, there's a ton of information on here. Like I said, you can check out the rulebook here. It's 40 pages long, and so you can get a good feel, a good flavor of what the game is going to entail. And it's nearly got 4,700 people following the pre-launch page already. Check it out. April 5th. There you go. Also launching on the 5th, we have the standalone sequel, Maul Peak. And you may be familiar with this. It is a standalone sequel to the game that brought us the board game equivalent of Shadows of Colossus, where you are going head to head. Now, the original was 2-player, and this one holds true as well as a 2-player game, where you are the heroes trying to scale this monstrous beast, destroy it, defeat it in whatever way possibly that you can. It has probably the coolest meeples that I have ever seen. Now, I think there was a little bit of concern with the first one, just about some of the minute balance issues and just some of the overhead that went along with it. But I would imagine as a 2.0 version of this game, essentially, it looks tremendous to me. And so I'm going to be hard-pressed not to get this, because I wasn't as much of a 2-player game person when the first one came around as I am now. And so I'm looking at this one much more heavily. Now, again, what is it going to bring new? What difference is it going to have compared to the first? That's what we're going to kind of have to wait and see. Now, if you head over here to the forums section, you can see the comparisons to the previously mentioned Skulk Hollow, that they give it a direct head-to-head. Why would you get this? What's different? What do you need to know about it exactly? Now, it says they're comparable. Animal Race for Guardians. You can mix and match everything from both games, which is good. You can also combine them to play potentially up to 3 to 4 players, which would be, 2 versus 2. Guardians are super unique in these games. I would say, I hope so, especially. And the Grizzar, which are the animal folk in the second game, are going to be completely different than the Foxkin from the first game. They say specifically some of the things they improved down here at the bottom: improving late game stall outs and reheals, as well as reduced amount of time players end up digging for cards. I am probably going to be really interested in backing this. This is going to be another one that I probably don't need, but I'm probably going to look at seriously, because I love the idea of the asymmetry and the asymmetricness of a game like this. But it's going to depend on price point. It's going to depend on exclusivity, because, again, why am I backing it on crowdfunding versus supporting the publisher later at that aspect? But that's why this is the second biggest one for me personally this week. Third up is Fujiyama with, I can't pronounce this. But this is a combo Kickstarter, 2 Japanese games that are also launching on the 6th. Why am I interested in this one? Because through 9 rounds, you're going to be trying to tile lay to match the season that you're in. But this is where the clever stuff comes in. It's using more of the between 2 cities mechanics, where the tiles that you're getting are going to be from the person on your left and the person on your right. And if you choose to use their tile, they get a wildlife mechanic or a wildlife bonus to their action, because then the other tile you're going to be potentially giving away on the next turn. Rinse and repeat. Ajisai is something completely different as well. This is, you are basically creating a flower, and you play one of your colored pieces onto the hydrangea, which it is, every single turn, and you go around and everyone takes turns. But what changes here is that you are just trying to get the most of your color on the board. However, there are predetermined and as well as rotating colors that will interact with each other, and that will change when placed next to each other. And so you have to be aware of that, of how it's going to manipulate from a spatial aspect. So again, I'm really interested to see these Japanese games, if they're priced appropriately, I am very, very into. And again, both of these are offering something slightly different, a slight play on things we've known, but a different twist. And so I love seeing what they're going to look like on the crowdfunding aspect of things. And this thing is launching, I guess I mentioned, on the 6th. We have a reprint of Uboot, the board game, the fully cooperative real-time WW2, not WWE, World War II submarine simulator, essentially. This is Captain Sonar taken to the extreme real-time next level, and that is going to be with a copy of Race to the Rhine, Keep 'em Rollin' 1944, which is a reboot of the original Race to the Rhine. This was a very significantly priced game for what it was when it came out originally, and people seem kind of split on it. People either really love it for doing its unique real-time simulation, encompassing and engrossing from all of those aspects of simulating real crew on a submarine, versus the length and the time and the effort and the, just like with Captain Sonar, getting everyone to be fully engaged and fully knowledgeable about what it is and what you have to do. What is a reprint going to show us? Is it going to have new things in the reprint? Not really quite sure what that's going to look like. There's no information on Board Game Geek right now, so we'll have to see when it launches. And what do you need to know about Race to the Rhine? 1 to 4 player Euro game racing to the Rhine through the enemy occupied territories during World War II. This is a reboot of the previous version that is also going to have a solo expansion as well as an additional expansion to go along with it. You want to be the first allied commander to cross the Rhine. The modular expansion also adds a 4th player, which allows you to have some more asymmetry and has a little bit slightly different objectives, completely differently from the solo expansion. But this is, as they say, a war game with a Euro game theme mechanism. So again, launching on the 4th, check it out. Next up on the 5th, we have Silicon Valley. You are an entrepreneur trying to get your company first evaluated up to $1 billion, not $1 million, $1 billion. I mean, this is 2022, right? $1 billion through the invention of new products via the mechanism of polyominoes. Peaked? Let's take a look. Now, if you go over to Grail Games' website, they actually have the pre-release rulebook on the website itself. Now, unfortunately, there's no other really information apart from what's on this web page, which was copied over to Board Game Geek and in the rules itself. But you can see already there's a 16-page rulebook here, and if we blow it up just a little bit bigger, you can get a little bit of a better sense of what the game board is going to be looking like and the different color and size / shape of the polyominoes that you're going to be using in the first place. And each of these people that you're going to be hiring is going to be bringing different size and color polyominoes with them for a certain price. So in the overview of this game, essentially, you're taking 3 actions and then you operate. These polyomino pieces are going to be not only ways to build new products, but they are going to be important for using them as currency to gain more funding and to pay product upkeep costs as well. The characters, employees, in this game not only give you 2 different things here that you can see. One is an instantaneous effect, and one is going to be an ongoing, as emphasized by the infinity symbol. Open and closed information is also going to be present in this game, so you need to be aware if you're one of those people who's very conscientious of games with that aspect. Subsequently, it runs through what each of the actions that are going to be potentially available to you are, including all 7 emphasized right here: hiring, poaching, expanding, getting more funding, outsourcing, project management, and then layoffs even. So an interesting aspect of this game, again, more of an economic game in the midst of a polyomino use, which is something I haven't really seen a combination of. Again, if you're interested in this, I emphasize that you go check out this rulebook and see for yourself if it's something you'd like when it launches on the 5th. Next up, we have Gamestormers also launching on the 5th. Now, this is a little bit of a meta situation. You are a game creator. You're going to be creating a game based off a story, mechanics, and items. 1, 2, and 2 cards, respectively. You can either win by getting the most victory points, or you can win by getting the most votes from other players. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. You're going to be able to create and interact based on the things that are available to you in the items, as well as the tableau that you're building itself. Now, they say, based on the description, it's going to have a little bit more of a tableau party game-esque feel. And so if you're looking for something in those lines, definitely check it out when it launches on the 5th. Also launching on the 5th, I think this one was delayed or even relaunched, I can't remember which, Hydroracers, where you are amphibious planes racing around the world. English, French, Italian, and United States racers. A combination of playing cards from your hand in order to move, and then drawing a chip from the bag to see who gets to develop in what order. You are going to be competing in multiple phases of a race that is customizable depending on how long you want to race, to give you a little bit of variable game length. Looks to be very technically accurate, but what does the gameplay look like? We'll see when it launches on the 5th. Then, also launching on the 5th, we have creators of the First Dawn. 2 to 6 player turn-based strategy game. You are slipping into the role of one of several deities struggling for control of this new world. Turn-based building system with variable levels of complexity depending on how many times and how familiar you are with the game in the first place. You are trying to defeat the other deities so that they cannot be brought back to the world. Included in this is being able to cast spells and clearly have an area control aspect that is going to be a strong influence. If you want to know more, check it out when it launches on the 5th. Next up, on the 8th, we have Mini Meeple Melee, and as it says, big battles, tiny tin. 2 to 4 players, 6 different classes, and 3 different modes that you can battle in. You get 2 actions per turn of essentially 4 actions that are at your disposal, including moving, resting, and your special unique ability in order to win the game. It reminds me very much of a button shy game in a tin, more of a dungeon crawl skirmish game. If you want to see what else it offers and what it actually looks like, it reminds me also of the mini dojo, micro dojo game that just launched a few weeks ago with its expansion. Give it a check out when it launches on the 8th. Last up, we're going all the way to the beginning on the day of this video, and this is Bonnie and Clyde Love and Death. A 1 to 2 player game, primarily solo, that is encapsulating the Bonnie and Clyde story where you are trying to get the ending that they wanted in the first place. You are going to be having 3 different phases in each round, a morning, noon, and evening phase in order to accomplish whatever you set out to do, including just getting around from place to place as well as robbing banks. It's going to be interesting to see what this one does and how this fares when it launches on the day of this video. So if you're looking for something different solo-wise, check this out. Now, let's go to last week's over or unders. First one up, I said 300,000 for Dead by Daylight. I was way under on that, but I was correct because it's at 500,000. Doing great. Hamlet, I said, is it going to break $500,000? Well, right here, it's at 496,000 euros. That's over. I think I was right on that one as well. Solar, I don't remember what I said on this one, but I said $225,000. Well, 176,000 pounds, I'll have you know, is 231,000 US dollars. And so that one was the over. I don't remember what I said. I think I got that one wrong, actually. And then Nightmare Cathedral. Now, why does that matter? Because the last bet was over or under 2.5 games breaking 100,000, because that Nightmare Cathedral gives 3 between that one, Dead by Daylight, and Darkest Doom. So that is the over as well. What do we got going on this week? You know what? Let's make that last one the same thing, 2.5 over or under. We got Legacy of Thrax, we got the Uboot reboot, and we got Maul Peak. 2.5 games over under 100K. I'm gonna go under this week. I think Legacy of Thrax and I think Uboot break it, but I think Maul Peak is gonna, you know what? Actually, you know what? I'll go over. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to all 3. People are gonna splurge. There you go. We'll do the over on that one. Tamashii, we'll go with this one. 584,000 euros right now. That's about 645,000 US dollars. Let's say, does it break 850? We'll say $850,000 for number 2. Ares Expedition is ending in a week. Let's say, you know, that's almost at the exact same amount right here. Actually, you know what? Let's make this number 3. Ares Expedition or Tamashii. I'm going to go Ares Expedition on that one. And we have another head-to-head. We're going to go Oak, which is 123,000 euros right now, which is about 135,000, versus Ryozen, which is 136,000. I'm going to go Ryozen. Both of very interesting, very different Euro-style games with completely different aesthetic as well, but I'm going to go with that. And then we have Tidal Blades, which is also sitting at about 650,000. Let's go, let's go with $850,000 for that one. Let's go for $1 million. Does Tidal Blades break $1 million before the end? Over under. I'm actually going to go under on that one. Not by much, but I'm going to go under. Last but not least, we'll go with Habitats, board game tables. Let's go $200,000. Will it break $200,000? I'm going to go under on that one as well for the last one this week. That's it. That's the over under. What are we doing for TV time right now? Finished up the Killing Eve, Japanese one, Inspector Coup. I've been watching a lot of Netflix Top Boy, if you haven't seen that one, about a drug dealer who gets out after being in jail and trying to work his way back up to the top, set in London, in the boroughs of London, and going against various gangs and the feds and that sort of thing. So I've been getting into that a bit. And then I just watched Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner, this weekend as well. So I got into that finally. Didn't know what was going on for part of it because, spoilers, I haven't seen the original Blade Runner. But it was good. It was good. It was different. It ended completely differently than I thought it was going to end. It kind of ended on a going, boom. I mean, I understand how it ended and why it ended the way it did, but it just kind of like, it was what it was. That's it. I played 4 new games today. 4 new games. So the month of April roundup of like new games played and ranking is going to be very, very interesting. Very different than March's. Very much bigger than March's already right now. Just with the stuff I want to get played, the stuff I need to get played. A couple of the preview copies that I have coming my way shortly as well. So, yeah, that's about it. If you missed my indie game roundup from last week, I highly encourage you to check out these games, especially Basa, the tile-laying dice pip-based game, Japanese one. And if you did not see Eero, the abstract game as well that was previously crowdfunded that is now available, I highly suggest you check those out. Apart from that, I don't really have much else. I'm going to try and get a few games played tomorrow. The Dark Quarter from Lucky Duck and Van Ryder. I'm going to try and get Paris, the city of Lumina. I forget. Whatever that 2-player one is, based on the Paris abstract game. That one. What else are we getting played tomorrow? Australia, that one. Cthulhu, Australia, that one. I got a copy of that. I'm going to do a review on once I get that played a few times. And then I'm learning how to play Root, not Root, on my iPad, because that's the only way I'm ever going to learn it before I can actually teach it to other people with the copy that's sitting behind the camera. I was going to buy myself a copy of Xenoblade Chronicles and maybe Monster Hunter Rising on the Nintendo Switch this weekend. One of the two, probably Xenoblade though, and play that all weekend as well additionally. But the kids took the Nintendo Switch with them. So that was a no-go. That was a bummer. Gonna get my first quality Nintendo Switch time in. It's okay. That's all I got. That is what's coming up next week. I got plenty of other stuff lined up for you. Just wait and see. Stay classy. Have a great weekend. Have some fun. Hopefully it's getting warm where you are. It snowed today here. Ugh.